Hello? I am Professor Shin Jung-woo, and I will be conducting the practical course on total denture prosthetics for the first semester of the 2025 academic year. How is everyone enjoying their vacation? We are now about 2 weeks away from the start of the semester. Now is the time to wrap up the vacation and prepare for the new semester. In this context, I would like to provide you with an overview of the plan for the total denture prosthetics practical course. What is this thing called total denture? Total dentures are essential for the oral health of the elderly in the era of superaging. In a long-lived society, it's crucial for seniors to have good oral conditions, but the reality is that many do not. Without any teeth in the mouth, the situation becomes very poor, and the loss of function, aesthetics, and psychological stability in such a challenging environment is not beneficial for the quality of life and longevity of the elderly. Basically, along with sleep, there should be supporting teeth, but in cases where there are no teeth at all in the mouth, the environment becomes extremely poor. The loss of function, aesthetics, and psychological stability in such a challenging situation is not beneficial for the quality of life and longevity of the elderly. In this era of superaging, we hope to help women live their remaining lives more happily by providing them with the functional, psychological stability through the theoretical background and technology of our dental technicians, which are the general principles of the elderly's poor oral health. I can say that total dentures serve as a means of spreading happiness to the elderly. In this regard, in order to provide the elderly with what we need to provide, we first need to assume the theoretical premise of the gun positioning system. This part will be thoroughly discussed in the theoretical class on total denture prosthetics. Along with that, we will also provide the theoretical background that can enhance your understanding of the total denture fabrication process during the practical sessions. In this way, for the elderly living in such poor and challenging environments, with the help of our happiness ambassadors, we can now live the remaining years of our lives more abundantly. In the era of superaging, the oral conditions of the elderly, along with demand and supply, suggest that the demand for complete dentures will likely increase due to supply. This is the way we will conduct the class with these elements. And as for the method of the class, as you may have already seen, I've uploaded 10 pre-learning materials on Professor Minhan's Dental Playground Cafe. From now on, all the key points of the class will be conducted through flipped learning. Flipped learning might be unfamiliar to you, right? I'm actually taking the lead in flipped learning here in our country. The concept of flipped learning is to turn traditional teaching methods upside down. What are we talking about? The traditional learning method is used in this class by the instructor. If you say that the class was teacher-centered and that the students would ask questions at the end, then the class that I want to conduct with you in the future is the opposite. If I upload the next week's class materials in advance to Professor Minhan's Dental Playground Cafe, you can engage in self-directed learning at your own pace. Then, when you come to class, you can address any parts you don't understand with the instructor and collaborate with your peers to solve them together. This method is what we call flipped learning. And the evaluation method is 20 points out of 100 for attendance, 25 for midterm, 25 for final, and class participation. So that's a total of 100 points. Participation in class is now part of the pre-learning, and now it is about how much of the class is in the cafe of the handsome professor. How actively you are participating and how much you are engaging in the practical sessions will be evaluated. This will account for 30% of the total score out of 100 points. So that will make a total of 100 points, with 30% coming from class participation. Now, the textbook I will provide you with the ebook for free. All detailed class materials will be provided through Professor Min Hwan's Dental Playground Cafe. Then, how will the 16 weeks of classes be structured? As I mentioned earlier, we will be creating dentures based on models of elderly individuals who have no teeth, using your theoretical background to guide the hands-on process. It's a process. So the total position is now based on this wax denture. We're dividing the process into 2 steps. First, creating the denture with wax, and then making it with hard acrylic. In this first semester, we'll only be focusing on the process of making the denture with wax. So, in the first week, we need to have a complete edentulous model ready. Model student. In the second week, we will need to create a custom tray using a resin called Kangjung app to take a more precise impression of the edentulous anatomical features of the patient's mouth. So, we will be creating a custom tray using Kangjung app. And in weeks 3 and 4, we will create custom trays for the upper and lower arches using self-weighted pressure instead of Kangjung api. And in week 5, thank you. The base is the base for the upper and lower total positions, and at 6 weeks, artificial teeth are placed on the base. Once we create the occlusal record using the arranged occlusal material, we will head to the treatment room to collect the occlusal records based on the patient's oral occlusion. When you come back to the dental laboratory will use a model of the occlusal pattern that has been recorded to move the lower jaw. This process of attaching it to an articulator that can mimic movements will take place in week 7. And in week 8, we will have the midterm exam. The midterm exam won't be a written test. Now, the digital exam and the descriptive part will be conducted through video recordings on your smartphones, where you will present your answers orally. And once the midterm exam is over, in week 9, we will set up the artificial teeth on the occlusal record that has been mounted in the articulator. It's provided by a company that manufactures artificial teeth called Chongwichi. We'll try setting up 28 teeth on the edentulous wax. Once we have the overall background established, in week 10, we'll arrange the anterior teeth, both upper and lower. Then in week 11, we'll focus on arranging the posterior teeth. In week 11, we'll focus on arranging the posterior teeth. And in weeks 12 and 13, we'll work on these aspects overall, both upper and lower. In week 12, week 13 is now the whole of these parts, up and down. We will finalize the setup of artificial teeth, including 28 teeth, including anterior and posterior teeth, to match the conditions of the Chinese character's oral cavity and the conditions of the occlusion record. Once that part is done, we will create a denture base that better mimics the shape of the gums and the gingival contours, and then we will finish up the wax try-in. And then, now the supplementary lessons. If there's a problem on a public holiday, we'll have makeup classes. Otherwise, in week 16, the final exam will also be completed in the same digital format as the midterm exam. And you know where my office is, right? My office is next to the Dental Technology Department office on the 4th floor of the dental building. My number 010-2356-9997. It's 010-2356-9297. You can remember me as Professor Min Nam, and I will allow you to reach out anytime through personal messages or text messages for any personal inquiries or counseling you may need. So with you guys, what is the course called? Total Denture Technology Practicum for the first semester of 2025. we can indeed determine conclusively that the Total Denture Technology course serves as a happiness ambassador for denture technicians, undoubtedly providing function and psychological comfort to elderly patients with poor oral conditions, allowing them to live the rest of their lives happily. Everyone, it's not just about total denture technology. To become a denture technician, having a theoretical background is important, but it's essential to actively engage in hands-on practice and create everything yourself. Total Position Engineering is actively participating in the demand for cost-effective college life and the demand for total position in the era of super-aging will continue to grow in accordance with the law of supply and demand. I hope you all prepare for your remaining college life with passion and aspire to become excellent denture technicians. With that, I will conclude the outline for the Total Denture Technology Practicum for the first semester of 2025. Thank you.